This book has been read by every American president since it was published. Fortune 500 CEOs keep it on their desks. Military generals study it before leading troops. And yet, the most important lesson inside it has nothing to do with productivity, time management, or success strategies. It has everything to do with who you are becoming while you chase those things. The book is called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. It has sold over 40 million copies and is consistently ranked as one of the most influential books ever written. Here are the 7 habits that separate people who achieve lasting success from those who stay stuck in cycles of effort with no real progress. Habit 1. Be proactive. Covey found that most people live in reaction mode. Something happens, and they respond based on emotion, habit, or fear. Proactive people do something completely different. They pause between the event and the response and choose deliberately. That pause is where freedom lives. You cannot always control what happens to you, but you always control how you respond. That gap is your power. Habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. Covey asks one of the most confronting questions in the book. He says, imagine attending your own funeral. What do you want people to say about you? Most people have never seriously answered that question. But the people who have answered it live differently every single day because they know exactly what they are building toward. Clarity about the end changes every decision along the way. Habit 3. Put first things first. Covey discovered that highly effective people do not manage time, they manage priorities. He created a simple framework. Important and urgent tasks are crises. Important but not urgent tasks are where your greatest growth happens. Most people spend their entire lives reacting to what is urgent and never investing in what is important. The people who change their lives protect the important things every single day without waiting for a crisis to force them. Habit 4. Think, win, and win. Covey found that most people unconsciously operate in a win and lose mindset. For me to succeed, someone else must lose. But the most effective people in every field build relationships and agreements where both sides genuinely benefit, not out of idealism, out of strategy. Win and win relationships last. Win and lose relationships collapse. And collapsed relationships always cost more than the short-term advantage was ever worth. Habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Covey says most people listen not to understand but to reply. They are already forming their response while the other person is still speaking. The result is that nobody ever feels truly heard and trust never fully develops. The most influential communicators in history mastered the discipline of understanding first. When people feel genuinely understood, they become open to being influenced. There is no shortcut to this. Habit 6. Synergize. Covey defines synergy as the idea that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. When people with different strengths, perspectives, and experiences work together in genuine trust, they produce results that none of them could have reached alone. The most effective teams are not made of people who think the same. They are made of people who respect difference enough to build something none of them could build individually. Habit 7. Sharpen the saw. This is the habit that holds all the others together. Covey says you must continuously renew yourself across 4 dimensions: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. A saw that never gets sharpened becomes dull no matter how hard you work it. The most effective people in the world are not just productive, they are disciplined about rest, learning, reflection, and the relationships that restore them. Output without renewal always collapses eventually. Stephen Covey spent his life studying one question: what separates people who live with purpose, impact, and lasting success from those who work hard their entire lives and still feel like something is missing? His answer was never about tactics or shortcuts. It was always about character. The habits you build in private determine the results you produce in public. Always. Which of these 7 habits do you feel you need most right now? Drop it in the comments. And follow because the next video breaks down the book that completely rewired how a generation thinks about money, assets, and why your school never taught you the most important financial lessons of your life. I will see you there.